open it up. Tell me what you know about the business side of gaming. We're going to talk about gaming because thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. We're going to talk about something that me and Sam both have in common, which is we enjoy a little thumb action. We enjoy some gaming here and there. And yeah.
So, all right, this
is a little bit of a side. This is a side episode. Listen, we both enjoy this new game just came out, which is exciting. We're going to talk about the business side of things because realistically, there's a lot to unfold with the business side of gaming.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money moving around and there's a lot of news and big movements and things that aren't being done. And Sam is pretty on top of that stuff. So, let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing to kind of give you guys some lore. I don't know if a lot of our viewers actually really game or not, but there's stuff that you can carry over.
But there's an interesting side to it. Like there's a whole massive community built off of it, and huge businesses that are built off of it. And
I mean, streaming, right? Entrepreneurship.
Alone, yeah.
Streaming is a form of that. In one way or another, you have to do your own marketing. You have to create, your own business. You are taking in money from YouTube or Twitch or Kick, however you're going to do it. And a lot of that is based around gaming. I mean, all the VR stuff coming out now, right? Like the new Apple Vision Pro thing, that's a work-related VR headset. So a lot of it is a lot of new technological advancements GTA 5 is coming out. All of their NPCs are going to be AI. Mm-hmm. Like, that's fucked. But anywho, the big thing why Jake and I are talking about this is, when you're running a business, you have clients, you have customers. That's kind of like the fan base, if you will. So like Call of Duty, the big one that's going on right now, everybody knows Call of Duty. When you hear that, it takes you back to the good old days when, maybe you're 10, 15 years old, 20 years old playing, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, the old stuff. And now it's grown and evolved. And Call of Duty, for those who don't know, is actually losing a lot of the fan base currently. And in a business perspective, they're losing a lot of fucking money. Like, that's a lot of money just getting tanked for what a lot of the fan base feels is pretty simple stuff, things that they shouldn't be doing.
Well, what I genuinely think is that Activision, as a company, and I could be wrong here, but Activision as a company is missing a key point that would help them continue to have the active user base that other games have, and it's listening to the fucking community.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that and realistically, they sell games that are a copy and paste with updated graphics.
Dude, they are.
And listen, those games are fucking good. They're really good. They're awesome games. But they lack evolution.
They lack soul.
They lack soul. Well, in your case, the soul is the community notes.
Yeah.
That's the soul, right? The soul of the game is the people who drive it, the clans, the esports, the average players, the 9 to 5 after workers, like all those guys the streamers, they're the community that give a shitload of feedback.
Yeah.
One of the most feedback of any industry is gaming.
Yep.
And the flaw is that Activision doesn't listen to the community. Now, in some cases, they might, right? They bring back certain things. They do this, to do that, but there's intricate details within games that change the entire experience.
Yeah.
That goes unrecognized or ignored.
Yeah.
And so if you want to build off that a little bit.
Well, so the interesting part too is, as Jay was kind of saying earlier, a lot of the games have kind of become copy-paste throughout the years. And that hurts. But Call of Duty hasn't had a game that has threatened it, right? It was the big kahuna since the dawn of time. It built that brand recognition. It built up its community. It went into competitive gaming, like Patriots, football, basketball. Like, there's competitive fucking Call of Duty. Like, that's how big this shit got. Like, people were literally making millions off of these tournaments, right? It's crazy. but they never had any competition. So they could do whatever they want. They could, cut corners, save money, building up the next year game, and just give it to everyone, and everyone will play it because it's Call of Duty. What's changed, which is, going back into like the business world of business, what I don't know, brain fart, I guess, brain got a little slow there for a minute. But anywho, Battlefield 6, the game came out. Those devs gave the Call of Duty community what Call of Duty wasn't. And to preface,
okay,
the beta of Battlefield 6 at its peak, and this is data, this is numbers that companies need to be listened to. When you get numbers like this, it perks you up a little bit. 570,000 was the peak of the Battlefield
beta.
For
people who don't understand that, so when a new game comes out with these FPS shooter games, there's a week of beta access or a weekend of beta access, whatever it is, where the game is not launched. It's pre-ordered and you're able to get access to the game to try it out. And then another week or so goes by, or a month, and then the game actually comes out. So it's like open access beta where people can just go in there and play the game before it's launched. For different reasons, but
exactly. And the crazy thing is that Call of Duty just had their new game beta. Its peak was 70,000.
See, that's crazy.
That is a statistic that perked up Call of Duty. Now Call of Duty, that company, that organization, that business is now threatened, and it's like, oh my God, we're going to lose all of these people to our close, FPS shooter, and now they have started listening to the community. They've gone, back through all the notes, all the criticism, and they've taken out some of the big things that affected their game negatively and added in new stuff that should add some positivity to the game, and it's been well received. Now, are they going to bounce back? Who knows?
How do they bounce back? And this is where they kind of, like, if they are, which I believe their Activision is a prominent, very powerful, great gaming company.
They are.
And now I think, but they need to prove themselves here and now with the bounce back.
Yeah, they do.
I think that they have, like, here's the thing. Yes, they had a pretty, you could call it a failure, right?
Yeah.
The pretty fucking fucked up beta.
Yeah, they failed.
Now,
that was tough.
In the company side, they could either look at this as fucking freak out, holy shit, we fucked up. How do we catch ourselves?
Yep.
Or they can look at the positive. This is our opportunity to prove who Activision is.
Yes.
And if they take advantage of that, they could set themselves in stone even further for being the prominent, better gaming development company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, my question is, now, it's hard for me to say, and I'm newer to this stuff, obviously, but it's hard for me to say that Battlefield gave people exactly what they wanted. It is it's a simple game. How often do they come out with games? Because from my understanding, Call of Duty comes out with Black Ops and Modern Warfare pretty much every year.
Yeah.
So you have 2 years in between. Which I personally don't think is the right, like, new Xbox comes out every 4 years, right? New PlayStation every 4 years, right? New games like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, they should not be coming out every year. Correct. I think it should be.
So
I don't know. It just doesn't. It seems too often, because you're almost creating a situation for yourself where every 2 years for a game, or every year, you have to create something new, or something different but better than the last one. Better. Unless that's not, your game plan, but it should be, even though it's the wrong game plan. Every year shouldn't be something new and better. It should be an addition to this game, for whatever, you know what I mean? Then that's when they came out with the Battle Royale.
Yeah, Warzone. Yeah, that was a big, COVID was a big hitter, dude.
That was good, but then they kept fucking changing it, and they kept taking it away. And they created fucking a map that's the size of shit that you see in Battlefield.
Yeah.
And it's like you're taking away from what your Battle Royale is. Fortnite has its own Battle Royale. Battlefield has its own Battle Royale. There's others. There's plenty of them. Call of Duty should have had their own, Activision should have had their own type that they just pivoted into the wrong direction.
Yeah,
and so that's one big thing that I see as the way that they have their launches, their games and everything set up is almost asking for it to be. It's almost setting them up to be to have these fucking issues.
Yeah. It's a problem. And so back to your point of like every year and stuff.
And Battlefield, how often does Battlefield come out with a game?
So Battlefield,
because I feel like the last one was like COVID.
Here's the crazy thing. So since the dawn of Call of Duty, how it happened. So to answer your question, Battlefield comes out with a game every 2 to 3 years, give or take. Their
so
studios,
similar. So
EA.
similar. Yeah. EA,
and EA had a lot of problems with like microtransactions, which is a really big thing.
Yeah.
People felt that they were getting really greedy. I mean, Fortnite does it, Well,
there was a huge lawsuit. There was a huge lawsuit with Fortnite for that literal thing.
Yeah, it was bad. But what Call of Duty actually originally did, which in my opinion was fucking genius, the fact that they shot it all to hell is just mind blowing to me. There were three at the time. There were three big companies. There was Treyarch, Activision, Sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Those are the three big studios. Treyarch did the Black Ops series, Activision did the Modern Warfare series, and then Sledgehammer did kind of other Call of Duties, Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Ghosts, etc.
Are they all owned by one company?
No. So back in the day, they actually switched off every year. So Modern Warfare would come out, and then Activision would then work on, Modern Warfare 2 or whatever. But they had 2 years to do it because then Black Ops would come out, and then Call of Duty Ghosts would come out, and then it's Modern Warfare's turn again. So each game actually had about 2 to 3 years of development before it got released. Whereas now Activision has just gobbled up everything, and now they're just shelling out a copy paste every year, which is why they've all been so similar. They're not getting that creativity of three different dev companies to work together and have them each make their own unique spin, because some games did well, some games didn't, but for the most part, every year you got a Call of Duty. It was slightly different, but still the bones. It still had the foundation of what Call of Duty was. It just ran a little bit different, or had different score streaks, or whatever it was. And that's one of those things where, big companies do it too. Big companies can fuck up. And like in an industry like that, kind of wrap it back to, what the show really is, for small business owners, pay attention to your industry. Look at what competitors are doing, look at how they're failing. Because if they're failing in one way, well, that kind of tells you what not to do, or see why they're failing, then tells you what to do to not hit that point. And, that's what Battlefield did, right? Skill-based matchmaking, the biggest thing in Call of Duty, that's what killed them. Battlefield outright came out and said, we are not doing skill-based matchmaking. It does not exist in our game. Bam. Took 200,000 Call of Duty fans right then and there. Another big one, Call of Duty was pushing, celebrity skins and stuff like that, celebrity collabs and movie collabs. People didn't understand why Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Nicki Minaj is in a fucking first-person shooter that's about, warfare.
See, it's interesting. I always thought about that, like Snoop Dogg and all that stuff. Like, they never really shared that they were like huge. And well, actually, I could be wrong with this, but a lot of them didn't really share like that they were huge fans of the game or the culture or anything like that. Like, why didn't they do like? I mean, I don't know. I can't talk about the success rate of these characters, but I know other. Like EA did stuff with Fortnite where they did, Kai and stuff like. We're not Kai, but like he's a bad example. But like people who were Ninja,
Travis Scott,
and stuff like that. Well, they did something similar though. But they, I don't know. That's an interesting thing to think about.
Fortnite's that cartoony.
I guess it's just a small aspect of everything. Yeah,
it's like I think what people were saying was that Call of Duty used to be like a realism warfare type of game where you go in there and there's boots on the ground. You're running in and they just strayed away.
Yeah.
They just strayed away and they didn't listen to the community. I mean, everyone out there listening, community is everything. Listen to them because they care. Like they are, that's a different perspective that not many people really give a shit about. Like it's huge. I mean, you have your own perspective as an employee, right? Or as, you know, a CEO or just an owner of a company, you know? Everyone has their own perspective, but the consumers, the clients, the community, those people are the ones giving you money. That's one of those opinions and perspectives that you should be focused on 24/7. If someone gives you a bad review, why did they give me this bad review? What happened inside, and what was their perspective on it? And was that just a Karen being a fucking Karen? You know, we all have them. They exist. They're out there. People are just fucking assholes. But like, if it was like an actual complaint, like, oh, was there something in our efficiency that didn't work well? That's why, you know, auto shop, that's why your car took, you know, 3 days to get out when it should have just been a half-day job or something.
Yeah.
You know, what happened there? And it's tough. It's happening all around us, and people don't look at gaming and Call of Duty, but that's a moneymaker. That's a moneymaker, dude. It's huge. It's growing.
It's harder to get into, or used to be. I'm going to get into my next point with that. It's harder to get into, or used to be harder to get into. So it's like not, you know, a type of business that just anyone can just jump right. I mean, realistically, they could just jump right into it if they have, you know, the right passion and knowledge and resources, whatever. But, you know, it kind of, my next thing is that I want to talk about is that the other big news that I think more people are talking about or are aware of, there's more eyes on it than Call of Duty itself, is the new GTA.
Yeah.
Now, I think I have a lot of different things that I could get into with this new GTA, but my whole question is, and we can get into GTA, so don't lose your thought.
Yeah, I won't. Ooh, baby.
It's taking a long time to develop this game. Now, other games that took a long time to develop dropped and had a lot of issues.
Yep.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
A couple other games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mention them right now, but a couple other games, they took a long time to develop. Now, GTA probably broke a record on the amount of time in development. Now, do you think that, and I know you may not have a lot of knowledge on this, but my whole thing around this right now is moving on from this. Is it going to be it's likely going to be a lot easier and quicker to come out with games now that we have the access to the types of AI we have access to. The coding AIs, right? The prompted codes, the stuff like that. I feel like it's going to be a huge game changer for gaming if someone takes the right approach with it.
Yeah.
Now, you know, I it's just a thought. It just kind of popped in my head. I don't have a lot to say about it, but it's interesting. I think that on another conversation between us, we should talk about the actual development of a game and how AI could be part of that, because I think that's a big conversation right now.
So on the topic of AI already is in, back to Call of Duty, it's already in there. They've created skins, and there has been flaws because the quality control hasn't been there. Mm-hmm. But what I do think AI could be really good at is improving NPCs. You know, you don't want to have AI build out a game. You know, that's a lot. Like the main characters, that's kind of a lot. But the taxi drivers in GTA, you know, as you were saying, you could, if you were good and if you took the time and formatted the AI correctly, you could have a very
at the end of the day,
that's kind of
at the end of the day, when it comes to the basic understanding of teaching AI on how to do things is lead by example. You give it a certain amount of examples, and it can do that thing more and more precisely the more examples it gets. Now, this means that in certain games like GTA, it can get better and better from the start.
Yep.
But we have millions and millions of movies. We have billions of videos of people driving cars, of people doing things in life. There's the internet and especially short form video content, YouTube. We have billions of examples that could be fed to AI in order to create very, very realistic people.
So
NPCs. I mean, like, seriously though, like extreme, almost like, and not even just like YouTube videos and stuff like that. Like everything is online now. Everything about humans, everything about how we do things. We have the podcast, the way we talk, the way we drive. People are, doing IRL stuff. Like, it's all there. And so if we used that resource to create NPC characters in these games, they'll be really good from the start. Now, interactions with NPCs in the game also add on to that learning tree and that learning experience from the AI to make the NPCs better and better and better. Now it gets to a point where do you cut it off, that's a big piece, which, obviously people know about that, but but you got a huge point. Is AI is going to be involved in it 1000%, especially on that side, I believe. Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Thank you.